Okay, so I just played the first few levels. Really not that much to report. I do win about every hand that I play, but they're just not that interesting yet. There was one hand where I had jacks and I opened from the high jack to 180. My opponent on the button makes a raise to 430. I make the call. The flop comes ace 9-9 with 2 diamonds. I do have a jack of diamonds. I check and my opponent bets 5-10. Well, I'm not folding yet, so I just call. Turn is an 8 of diamonds, so I do add the flush draw, but the flush does come in. I check and my opponent checks this time. The river is an offsuit queen. I check and he checks again. I show my jacks. My opponent shows me tens, so that was a good pot for us. We do have around 7.5k now. We started with 5. Okay, just played to the second break. Really not much to report again. I'm playing 7k now. There was one hand though where under the gun opened to 420. I call under the gun +1 with pocket 9s. And it folds around to the player in the cutoff who makes a raise to 1660. And it folds around to me. And I decide to make the call. Flop comes queen 10-4. I check and my opponent goes all in for his remaining 6k or something. And well, not much I can do there, and I just folded. And later he told me that he had pocket queens. The blinds are getting very big now. The big blind is going to be 400 when we get back, and I only got a 7k stack, which is about average. So definitely going to be some people busting, being some moves there. Gonna have to go all in quick. So it might be over in just a few minutes.
5 minutes later.
Okay, I'm back already. It took me only like 4 hands to run that stack down to 0. First 2 I folded. The next one I had ace-7 in the small blind. The big blind only had 2800. So I go all in when it folded to me. And he snap calls since he had aces. We do hit a 7 on the flop, but no improvements whatsoever. And then the hand after that, a player opened to 1000 and I find pocket 7s on the button with only a little over 4000 left. No, that's not correct. A little less than 4000 left. I go all in. He calls me with ace king and he hits his ace on the turn and the river. And we're busted. But we still got a girlfriend to rail. Maybe she will make something happen. Oh yeah, they might also start a cash game with blinds at 2-2 and a maximum rake of 5, and all of the rake will go to the charity. So if that cash game opens up, I'm definitely gonna hop in there, but for now it's the rail for me. So this cash game did start up in the end, and I ended up playing in it. And we didn't play for that long, only like 2 or maybe 3 hours. And the session was for me defined by 2 hands, which I will quickly share with you here. The first hand, I had pocket 9s in the big blind. The straddle was on, and I'm not exaggerating, like 6 people limped. And I raised, but with so many limpers, you have to raise big. So I raised to 34 and fold. The 5th limper or something calls, and small blind also calls. The flop comes 9-6-3 with 2 diamonds. So I do have the nuts right now. And I decide to not slow play this, since I think my opponents will be expecting me to almost bet everything here. So I bet not that big, 36. My opponent behind me raises to 200. Small blind folds, and I have only around 230 or maybe 240 total. So I go all in. He's never gonna fold. He calls, and turns out that he had pocket 6s, and well, we hold up. So that's a very nice pot to win for us, which doesn't require any analysis actually, because everything was going to go in regardless. And after that I got ace queen offsuit on the button. The player under the gun raised to 16, which is 8 times the big blind. That's very big and sets off some alarm bells for me, but ace queen is simply too strong to fold, so I call. I definitely never want to raise here. And the small blind and the big blind also call. The flop comes ace 10 3. The small blind checks, the big blind decides to lead into the 3 other people. So I don't expect him to ever be bluffing here, but our hand is very strong. He bets 42. The player under the gun makes a face of disgust and folds. So and he asks if he can hold on to these cards, so he probably had kings. And well, I call, and the other player also calls. The turn is an offsuit jack, and this is actually a bad card for us because it does add a straight draw, but we now officially have the worst possible hand we could be having in this situation, because I would definitely not be calling this pre-flop 16 with ace 9 or less than that. So when the small blind and the big blind both check, I decide to also check for that reason. And the river is another 3. And they check to me again, and I still don't think that any worse ace should be arriving at this river, because calling that 16 pre-flop with ace 9 or worse, that would really be giving away money. Turns out that we're giving away money, and I missed out on this giveaway because I checked, and the player that led into the field was having ace deuce offsuit, and the other player had king jack offsuit. So yeah, that was unfortunate, and in the end I lost 250 in the tournament, and I won 372 in the cash game for a profit of 122. But also the donation box got filled up very nicely. I'm not sure how much was in there, but it must have been like 7,000 euros or something. So a real big thumbs up to Holland Casino Scheveningen for hosting this. And also to all the dealers that have been working for free that night. Yeah, that was about it. See you next time.